we voted to leave. That's what it said on the ballot paper. And the consistent slogan of the Vote Leave campaign was to take back control. And when we were asked for a little bit more detail, we always itemised borders and money and laws.
Yes, the taking back control of the money was very clear.
What we were voting for, yes.
So
and the money was extremely clear because it was a matter of contention how much exactly it was. But
well,
everybody
there was a
knew
matter
that
of
we
contention.
wanted to take back the full amount.
Yes, but this question of the 350 million a week, it was brandished on buses, it was all talked about. It's not being talked about at all now.
Well, because quite rightly, the Prime Minister is not going to give you a running commentary. I think it's very silly of the BBC to constantly run these stories.
She mentioned immigration, she mentioned sovereignty.
We haven't sent the letter yet. There are no substantive negotiations on anything at the moment because we haven't even notified them formally we are leaving, which she said she's going to do probably early in the new year, which will be very good. But you can't make up these stories just because some officials in Whitehall are unhappy.
But they're not made up.
Unhappy. No, the officials in Whitehall, I'm sure, exist, and I'm sure they wanted to stay in, and they're now putting out this kind of information. But they're not speaking for the government. And as you've rightly reported, the government is not going to provide a running commentary, and there is absolutely not a shred of evidence that the government wishes to give away this money. And do you realise that if we gave away the full net contribution we're
10
making,
billion,
that would be twice as much as the amount we'd have to pay in tariffs? So that would be a particularly stupid deal, wouldn't it?
Let's just be clear, though. You say they're not giving a running commentary. She talked in her speech very clearly about sovereignty. She talked about immigration. She did not talk about the money at all.
Well,
so it's only a running commentary. It's only a running commentary as far as it goes.
Well,
what do you think of the idea of any contribution?
Obviously, you're not sovereign if you have to keep on paying money away to some foreign power, are you?
Well, it depends how you're paying. If you're paying it to the power, if you're paying it into a different fund, it's not necessarily money. It's suggested that's going into the EU budget. It's going into a fund. What do you think of that?
You're now at a stupid level of detail, which is not on the government's agenda and is not part of any very informal discussions.
But surely, if there was to be a situation where we dealt with free movement of people, and also where we had access to the single market.
You mean we had control of it?
Yeah, we had control of it. And we had access to the single market in return for a contribution.
But we're going to have access to the single market anyway. You know, everybody has access to the single market. America and China have access to the single market. They don't have any special deals with the European Union, but they have access to the single market.
There may be a particular balance.
Is,
well, there may be a particular balance on goods. 44% of more. We export to the EU. But on the question of financial services, which is of huge importance to the British economy, and passporting, there would have to be a deal.
Well, not necessarily. There are various ways that this can be done. I mean, the United States of America has perfectly good service access to the European market, and there's the doctrine of equivalence, which is something we could explore if they want to take the passports away. But do you realise there are many more passports from the continent into London, because we have the biggest market, than passports out of London onto the continent? So why do all these continentals want to lose their passports? The ones I talk to actually want to keep their passports, and I think we will generously say to them they can keep their passports and then we'll have our own.
But if it is a negotiation, it has to be a negotiation. If it is a negotiation...
It doesn't have to be a negotiation, no.
Well, I know you think that actually we should just send a letter and get out. I know that.
Well, and offer them very generously to carry on trading exactly as we are at the moment. They have a massive surplus with us, so it clearly suits them very well. And I think when they reflect on it, the member states are very likely to say, yes, that's what they want. Is Mrs. Merkel really going to go around Germany ahead of her election saying, I'm recommending a 10% tariff on German cars? I don't think she's going to be saying that. Is Monsieur Hollande, very low in the polls, going to say to French agriculture, I'm really recommending that you pay a very high tariff into Britain when you sell your cheeses and your wine? There's no way they're going to want to do that.
If there is a negotiation and it comes down to a contribution, a financial contribution into, for example, the development of Eastern European countries.
There's absolutely no need to pay them money to buy their imports.
This is your view, but there are other views in government about this. You accept that. And
there are officials who have a different view,
and there are politicians who have different views of the way of Brexit.
Well, I don't think you'll find the Brexit ministers have a different view to the extent they're allowed to express one, but they obviously are bound by great responsibility. If the Brexit ministers,
if Davis, Fox and Johnson, the three Brexiteers, if they fail to get a deal without contributions, financial contributions from Britain into an EU fund for a particular reason, Should they resign if they do not get, as you would put it, a clean Brexit?
This is just a set of silly questions. This is not what we're talking about.
Questions that people want to hear answered.
Yes, but we haven't even sent the letter, and I've made it very clear that there is no need to pay a lot of money into the EU budget because they want to sell us their goods, you know?
John Redwood, thank you.